Now at 9, the city of Girard, Kansas is offering CDL training. Plus, how animals at the Newton County Fair are staying cool. And how local food trucks are dealing with the heat.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Dow Quick. A federal judge sentenced 3 people for taking part in a $1 million check kiting scheme in Commerce, Oklahoma. Authorities say 53-year-old John Linthicum was seeing a drop in revenue from his cattle business, so he had 53-year-old Douglas Mayfield write insufficiently funded checks that Linthicum deposited into his bank account at First State Bank of Commerce. Authorities say 61-year-old Angela Asbell worked for both the bank and Linthicum's business and used these positions to pass those bogus checks. All 3 pled guilty to conspiracy to commit bank fraud. Linthicum was sentenced to 27 months in prison. Mayfield to 6 months of home detention. Asbell gets 5 months in prison, followed by 5 months of home detention. It's commonly called brain-eating amoeba. The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services has been notified of a Missouri resident with a confirmed infection of Naegleria fowleri. It's a free-living amoeba that can cause a rare, life-threatening infection of the brain. The amoeba is commonly found in warm, fresh water, such as lakes, rivers, ponds. However, it's extremely unusual to catch it. Only 154 known cases have been identified in the entire U.S., and the only other case identified for a Missouri resident happened back in 1987.
And that's despite the fact that there's hundreds of millions of visits to water venues across the country and including in Missouri. So I think it's important to be aware and knowledgeable of the symptoms. But on the other hand, I think it's important to keep the risk in context as far as how rare this condition is.
Officials said they are not investigating any more cases in Missouri. Nick Kelly joins us. We're going to be getting some relief from the heat, Nick.
And we definitely needed, Dal, not just after what we've been throughout the past several days with unrelenting July heat and humidity, even though it looks nice from 7th and Rangeline. We needed a break from today, especially with a warm start of 83 and topping out at 99. Not a record breaker, but we just went from warm and muggy to hot and humid throughout the course of the day. But we do have a cold front that continues to slide to the south. Northerly breeze kicking in. It might be light for the time being, but is pulling in drier air, allowing temperatures to quickly drop back into the lower to middle 80s across much of the area. A quick look at your day planner has maybe some clouds behind the passing front, but we'll start at 73. And how about highs near 89 for tomorrow? We're going to enjoy Saturday for sure, Down. We'll see if this trend holds for the week ahead here in a few.
See you then. Neosho, Missouri hosted day 3 of the Newton County Fair. Reporter Bella Line found out how livestock owners are handling this July heat.
At the Newton County Fair, competitors from all over the 4 state area are looking for creative ways to keep their livestock cool in this extreme heat.
The heat can affect many aspects of the competition. Devin Beckett and his siblings have prepared their livestock all year, but no one can prepare for the harsh conditions.
It'll affect how they look. You want them to look, with the combs and models, you want them to look red and kind of shiny, and then their feathers will get kind of ruffled up because they're getting hot and they want to cool down,
Fans can be found all over the fairgrounds for visitors and animals to use. But some animals have special ways to cool down, like iced water bottles for rabbits, cooler rooms for larger animals, and being hosed down with cold water.
We usually just have water buckets, and we don't have any specialty thing like bunnies or sheep or hogs have. But last night I was working with them in the ring, and they were kind of acting up as I was practicing, but hopefully they'll do good today.
Keeping the livestock well cared for and cool is the participants' main priority in hopes to win Best in Show.
Reporting in Neosho, Missouri, I'm Bella Line, KOAM News.
The fair ends Saturday and supports the local Future Farmers of America high school programs. This intense heat's also bearing down on local food trucks. Several trucks have had to close early the past few days because of the combination of hot cooking equipment and limited air conditioning that makes them unbearable inside. Smack Dabs was in Carthage today, and its owner says they use a few methods to cool down.
It does real well. We hydrate, drink a lot of water. Tea's good for you too, but try to hydrate as much as we can. Cool towels. We actually put some of our towels, we wet them, put them in the freezer, let them freeze a little bit, put them around the neck.
Smack Dabs and several other food trucks were in Carthage for the city's Food Truck Friday event. If you've ever wanted to get the training needed to operate a semi-truck, well, a local town is now providing it. The city of Girard, Kansas is offering CDL license training to people who are interested. The city CDL instructor, Michael Clark, says safety is the most important aspect of the training.
It comes down to safety. That's why it's important to take these classes. Make sure you're familiar with the rules and laws. Make sure you understand how to control the truck, weather hazards, things like that. Just a broad understanding of how dangerous the job can potentially be if careless.
Yeah, he says safety is the priority when it comes to both teaching and driving the truck. KOIM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. First, we recognize this local Vietnam War veteran. Orland Merritt served in the Army from 1943 to 1946. Coffeyville, Kansas native was stationed in Europe, received a Purple Heart, and we salute Sergeant Orland Merritt, a four-state hero. Nick is next with a complete look at the forecast and later a Hall of Fame recognition for a Southwest Missouri College baseball coach. We'll have details in sports.
It was just yet another downright hot and humid day, and it didn't help things that we got off to a warm and muggy start across the area. You can see how after we pushed back into the triple digits yesterday afternoon, we only dropped back to 83 degrees this morning. That's just a Joplin regional, but everybody just had a downright warm and muggy start to the day with upper 70s and lower 80s for lows. At least this time, Joplin regional didn't officially hit 100, but still, anytime it's close to 100, that's enough is to make me feel a little sick inside, if I'm honest. But we did have a good change in our weather setup pass on through today. This morning, Chris Warner was keeping an eye on a passing cold front that for some of us brought in some scattered showers, even a couple of thunderstorms. Thankfully, nothing too strong or severe. But at the very least, even though radar estimates for the entire area suggest only 1/10 of an inch of rain with that cold front, at least we got something out of it. So a few lucky spots. Certainly thankful to be picking up on some rain, or rather picked up on some rain through the morning hours. We were keeping an eye on a few rogue showers that tried to fire up southeast of Joplin, certainly closer to Table Rock Lake, but that was activity behind the passing front, and even then it did not last long. We're all looking quiet, and making doubly sure we are looking quiet from 7th and Rangeline. Nice to see the sun's rays still up just a little bit longer, but nonetheless we're looking at clear skies up top. 89 degrees, a north breeze at 6. That is going to allow more drier air to work in through the overnight. That's already resulting in some lower 80s popping up in our counties along and north of US 54. Everyone else though still rather warm with mid to upper 90s. Feels like the lower 90s for some with the humidity, if I can ever say it, that we still have out there. At least the front's leaving us alone as we go through the rest of the night, but as long as it's stretching just to the south, we're seeing it result in some scattered storms across central western Oklahoma, panhandle of Texas, and additional storms along the Ohio River Valley. But upstairs, not only are we seeing the upper level ridge get squashed, but the jet stream actually coming back closer to us. That's finally going to mean temperatures back closer to where we should be. Not pushing triple digits, but close to our normal high of around 90 degrees, which it's still hot, but it's a heck of a lot better than what we've dealt with recently. Can't rule out some passing cloud cover to get tomorrow morning started with lows in the lower 70s, but look at lunchtime. We'll be in the lower to middle 80s, same range of temperatures, by the way, that we started the morning out with. And that would look great for tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies, a light north breeze at 5 to 10 with that drier air. We'll go 73 in the morning, 85 by noon, highs are 89. So we look great for Saturday. Going quickly into Saturday night, we'll actually drop back into the upper 60s for highs. That's going to feel rather refreshing. But we have to see that upper ridge build back in a little bit. 92, but the humidity stays low. 97 with a little humidity can make it feel like the triple digits. And another front down by Tuesday and Wednesday will drop highs back down near 90. And in fact, every time we get a front that will pass on through, including Tuesday and Wednesday Dow, that's going to knock lows back into the upper 60s for those mornings, which is going to be mighty refreshing.
Yeah, people want to get out early and jog or whatever. The early morning would be the time to do it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, we have a big update on our More Power project. Today, we put up the antenna for KFJX at the very top of our tower. That gets us very close now to the point where we can boost the transmitting power for both KFJX and KOAM TV. Keep an eye on our social media for updates on when the new signal, the more powerful one, goes live. Check out the progress anytime on our website. It's KOAMnewsnow.com/power. Coming up, a move to protect abortion rights.
The president says he's doing all he can to protect access to abortions. But for the rest, he needs Congress and the American voter. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with more on his latest executive action coming up.
Elon Musk is trying to get out of buying Twitter. Regulatory filings show the Tesla CEO wants to end the $44 billion deal. Musk has claimed Twitter breached several provisions in the original agreement. He's expressed concern there were more bots and spam accounts on Twitter than the company publicly revealed, though he has not provided any evidence to back up those claims. Twitter's board says it plans to pursue legal action to enforce the agreement. After weeks of resistance, White House counsel, the former one, Pat Cipollone, arrived on Capitol Hill today for closed-door testimony before the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The ex-White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson testified last week that Cipollone was among the handful of people who spent time with former President Trump as he watched the Capitol riot unfold on television. After last month's landmark decision by the Supreme Court to overturn federal abortion protections, President Biden is trying to take steps to shore up existing protections. He says he can't do it alone and says he needs Congress and women voters. Reporter Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
President Biden signing a reproductive rights executive order Friday, 2 weeks after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
The court has made clear it will not protect the rights of women, period.
The order establishes a task force to focus specifically on reproductive health care. It will also try to shore up some abortion medication protections and make clear health privacy protections, but it can only go so far.
He believes the decision that this court has made is extreme, and it is beyond the pale. He's going to, again, continue to do the work that he can from here, but also, call on Congress to act.
The president turning his focus to women voters.
It's my hope and strong belief that women will in fact turn out in record numbers to reclaim the rights that have taken from them by the court.
President Biden says it's now on Congress to make abortion access a federal right. And to do that, Americans need to elect a Congress that would codify Roe. Critics, including some of the president's own party, say he's not doing enough.
They want him to go forward and actually be more aggressive in using federal resources to support abortion services. That can get him into trouble with the Hyde Amendment. It can get him in trouble with Congress.
The executive order may also tee up future legal battles over the availability of abortion medications. Some governors have said they will not allow it to be shipped across state lines. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Still ahead, a better than expected jobs report.
American businesses added more jobs. I'm Caroline Shiley in Washington. I'll explain the economic numbers coming up.
U.S. ports saw a record number of imports this spring, showing no sign of a slowdown in consumer demand. According to the National Retail Federation, or NRF, U.S. ports handled 2.4 million containers in May. That sets a new all-time record number of imported containers in a single month. An NRF official says cargo volume is expected to remain high as the peak shipping season is ahead. Businesses kept up their hiring spree in June, even though the economy is showing signs it's struggling with high inflation and interest rate hikes. It's all part of the Fed's Balancing Act, which is trying to cool consumer spending without triggering a ton of layoffs. Carolyn Shively reports from Washington.
New data out Friday shows American businesses added a whopping 372,000 more jobs in June, higher than economists had predicted.
Our private sector has now recovered all of the jobs lost during the pandemic and added jobs on top of that.
Wages also went up. rising at a 5.1% annual rate, still not keeping up with the pace of inflation.
We're seeing some really positive signs here with people going back to work, and the wage growth, the largest gains we're seeing in wage growth, have been historically lower wage workers.
Friday's report will likely lower talk of an imminent recession, but also makes it more likely that the Federal Reserve will hike interest rates to bring down inflation, which sits at a 40-year high.
Do we have a classical recession? The answer is no. Is there going to be economic pain that comes out of this? The answer is yes.
An Associated Press poll from June shows that inflation and gas prices top the list of Americans' priorities for the government to address in the next year, with 93% of Republicans and 43% of Democrats disapproving of how President Biden is handling the economy.
The government's never had a really good grasp on how economics work.
The next report that economists will be watching comes next week with the release of the Consumer Price Index, a key indicator of inflation. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Up next, going to learn the story behind this baby goat sporting some near record-breaking ears. Yeah, some social media stars win their fame through their looks, some with their jokes. Simba the baby goat has won over the web with his obviously astonishingly long ears. They're 22 inches and they're growing. The tawny-coated kid goat has attracted thousands of followers on YouTube and other channels since he was born last month in Pakistan. When Simba was born, his ears were 19 inches long. They've grown another 3 inches in just over a month, and they're showing no signs of stopping. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. We're going to learn about the shortage of police officers, how it's impacting departments around the country, including in Kansas City, Missouri. Plus,
officials in Japan are ramping up their investigation into the assassination of the longest-serving prime minister. In London, I'm Alex Hogan. I'll have more on this story coming up.
law enforcement, like a lot of American industries, is dealing with labor shortages. Police departments all across the country, including in Kansas City, Missouri, are struggling to fill critical staff positions. Reporter Ryan Young looks at some ways they're trying to recruit new talent.
More shootings and more 911 calls have police departments around the country struggling to meet the growing need, with departments stretched thin.
Kansas City 911, call taker 22.
Heading into a busy summer where calls for 911 emergency service spike.
Is she threatening or fighting with anybody right now?
So not only are you dealing with shortages out there in the field, but in this room.
The people work here are working long hours, extra overtime to cover other shifts, but we have to have someone answering the call, so it's a critical.
The worker shortage is already disrupting public safety around the country by causing delays in law enforcement response times and a reduction in detectives working cases.
Where has the American workforce gone? It's like they just vanished. And obviously police, we're not immune to it.
In Kansas City, Missouri, Mayor Quentin Lucas is seeing a shortage across all open jobs, but tells us hiring more recruits in this tough market is a top priority.
Things will not be perfect tomorrow. We will not have enough officers tomorrow. But more than anything, that we need to all try to make sure we're helping other folks know that policing is a good path. It is a good pursuit.
Law enforcement departments are now offering hiring bonuses as high as $20,000. And some departments have started paying bonuses to keep current officers. In Portland, Oregon, they are short 108 officers. In Dallas, they are short 550 officers. And in Kansas City, Missouri, they are short some 224 officers. While in Atlanta, the new mayor says he has immediate openings.
I'm looking for 250 officers, and we're finding them. People are answering the call. They're saying they want to serve their city.
One of the challenges now is every police department is looking for the same group of talented, motivated individuals that have a heart to serve.
So right now we're looking at military bases, always been a step, but also HBCUs. We can't just talk about getting more officers of color. We're going to the campuses, talk to them about policing, about the work that we do.
But I think what we do sometimes is we like to wait around for the people at the top to change the culture.
Caliber Press, a law enforcement training group, is helping teach police departments.
So if we're talking about recruiting today,
to reach more applicants.
I can legitimately go out there and be the change that the community wants to see without anybody even having to impress upon me what I need to do.
That ripple effect of the workload and stress that is being placed on police officers has increased to our current staffing as well as what is applying. So we're kind of in a perfect storm right now.
Local nonprofits giving you a chance to score new items for your home while also supporting an area park. Wildcat Glades Friends Group is hosting a 2-day rummage sale of items donated by the community. The group has hosted this event for 14 years as a way to raise money for the park. Even though this event lasts only 2 days, people can support the park year-round by buying items from an antique mall.
We have 2 booths courtesy of Southside Antique Mall that we have open year-round, and we have things to sell due to the generosity of the public and our members.
This fundraiser is going to continue tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the IBEW Hall. Folks in Frontenac, Kansas are celebrating their history with Frontenac Mining Days. The town started off as a mining settlement, so today's event is themed around those days. It features a carnival, games, historic presentations, and a medallion hunt that led sleuths around town with the help of clues.
No masks, not seeing everybody in masks and people having fun. We got reunions that'll come, so I'll see people that I've not seen in probably 10 years. They come from out of town just for this.
Today's festivities wrapping up pretty soon at 10 o'clock, but we're going to be back and running again tomorrow. You might want to check it out. Public health officials can detect COVID outbreaks sooner by testing sewage. Scientists with Scripps Research and the University of San Diego found that by testing just 2 teaspoons of raw sewage, they can accurately identify new COVID variants up to 2 weeks before traditional testing. A lot of communities are already testing wastewater to catch surges of COVID early. UCLA scientists have created a new kind of artificial muscle for machines. It's even stronger and more flexible than the real thing. Researchers used dielectric elastomers, which, of course, as you know, are lightweight acrylic-based materials with high elasticity. They're flexible, but they are tough enough to keep their shape. The technology could be used to create robots with improved mobility and endurance. Japan's most popular politician was assassinated today, sending shockwaves around the world. Reporter Alex Hogan has more.
The shots rang out just minutes into a campaign speech by Japan's most popular politician. Former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe assassinated by a lone gunman on Friday morning, ending an era of political dominance that outlasted his time in office. Abe was in Western Japan campaigning for a parliamentary election scheduled for Sunday. 2 shots were fired. Abe was brought immediately to emergency room, but doctors could not stop the bleeding.
This hasn't happened in Japan in decades and decades. I'm told all the way back to the late 30s, the mid 30s. And it's a homemade weapon.
Abe was the longest serving prime minister in Japanese history and a staunch ally of the United States. Officials from the Bush, Obama, and Trump administrations say he was key in pushing America's Asian agenda, especially when it came to confronting the biggest regional threats.
Abe saw the United States as the indispensable leader to assist in providing stability, and he was laying out in no uncertain terms the threats of North Korea and China.
It's still not clear what impact this assassination will have on American foreign policy, but most experts agree that Abe was a driving force behind the Japanese-American military alliance, and he will not be easy to replace.
Prime Minister Abe was our best partner in helping us deliver an outcome for the world to keep our country safe.
The 41-year-old suspect is a former Japanese naval veteran. He is currently in custody. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
President Biden ordered flags at federal buildings to be flown at half-staff through July 10th in honor of Abe. A bit later, when we could see new images from the depths of space clearer than ever before.
It was nice that we are seeing a big change in our weather setup pass on through, at least at the surface for today. You can see what it did as we got the morning underway. We had some scattered rain and thunderstorms for some as we got our weekend started out this morning. We also got past the morning hours. We pretty much calmed things down throughout the course of the day. Now we're just waiting for more drier air thankfully, to come in behind the front. Not a lot of rain with the front as it passed on through, just 1/10 of an inch on the average across the entire region, but any rain that we can get based on where we've been lately, we will certainly take it. And in fact, we did have a few rogue little showers around Pierce City, Milnette, Southeast Indio not too long ago to start the evening out, but we're all looking dry right now and still looking nice from 7th and Range Line, at least getting a glimpse of the clouds before the last of the sun's rays set in the western horizon. 89 in Joplin, a north wind at 6. Even though it's a light breeze, that's what's going to continue to allow drier air to filter in as the front continues to sink farther to the south of the region. Upper 70s already. Iola and Yates Center, and everybody else is still sitting mainly in the 80s. And a couple of spots, enough humidity still where it may feel like 90 degrees outside. Let's fast forward to the surface setup once again, or at least to the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Not a lot in terms of our area as far as active weather goes, but the front to the south has storms to the east of St. Louis, storms to the west and southwest of Oklahoma City. The front is going to be a big role in helping us turn a little cooler and a little drier for tomorrow. Same goes for the upper level setup. The ridge has collapsed for the time being, and we'll be thankful for it now that the jet is passing almost right on top of the region. That means temperatures close to where we should be for this time of the year. So even though we can see maybe some passing cloud cover through the overnight, lows will drop back mainly in the lower 70s. Then look at tomorrow. By noon, we will be at the morning lows that we saw this morning. But we'll take lower to middle 80s to get the afternoon started, and then pushing, let's say, mid 80s to the north, maybe some spots around 90 in northeast Oklahoma for the afternoon. If you'll be around Joplin for the day, the numbers look a lot better. 73 in the morning, 85 by noon. Highs are 89 with that light north breeze. We'll certainly take it, and the lower humidity that'll go along with it. As we go into Sunday morning, we'll start quiet, lows in the upper 60s, but we will have to climb back at least into the lower 90s for highs as the ridge tries to build back in. This will push us into the upper 90s for Monday, but then another front comes in on Tuesday. That could maybe bring in a few isolated storms Tuesday, but its main job is to bring us back near 90 for Wednesday and Thursday before that ridge really builds back in by the end of next week. So temperatures looking a lot better compared to where we've been lately. 89 tomorrow, 92 on Sunday, 97 on Monday. Then with another front, we'll be back near 90 for Tuesday and Wednesday. So not only are we going to be better during the daytime, Dow, take Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, for example. Behind that front, lows in the upper 60s. That's going to be mighty refreshing compared to where we've been lately.
Yes, and it's nice that these cooler daytime temps line up with the weekend.
Absolutely. I will never complain about that.
You bet. Thanks, Nick. Hey, mailing off a letter the old-fashioned traditional way is going to cost you a little bit more starting this weekend. The United States Postal Service is raising the price of postage on Sunday. It's going to cost you 60 cents to buy a first-class mail forever stamp. That's a couple of cents higher than it had been. Prices for domestic postcards and sending an international letter are also going up. The USPS points to inflation and increased operating expenses as the reasons for that price hike. Coming up in sports, the Joplin Outlaws aim to get back to first place in the Mink League South Division. Plus, local youth basketball players get the chance to learn from some of the best to ever do it in Southeast Kansas. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
The Joplin Outlaws dropped game one of a two-game set to the Sedalia Bombers last night, 10-9 in 11 innings. And with that loss, the Outlaws slipped to second place in the Mink League South Division, just a half game behind the Bombers. Now, Joplin has a chance to get back to first place tonight in game two against Sedalia. That game is a really good one, and it's still going. It is 3-3 in the bottom of the ninth for Joplin. Cade Lott is 2 for 4 on the evening with a pair of RBIs. Well, Crowder College head baseball coach Travis Lallemand is headed to the Region 16 Hall of Fame. Now, Lallemand has spent the last 17 years leading the Rough Riders baseball program. In those 17 years, the team has won more than 700 games, including 7 Region 16 titles. They've also made 4 trips to the Junior College World Series. So he's got the numbers, but those numbers are not the most important thing for Lallemand since he took over at Crowder in 2006.
It's about the relationships. That's what it is. You know, I didn't get into this thing for wins, losses, championship rings, anything like that. I got in to make an impact, and hopefully I've done that. And it's just really special, and I think that's what is a motivating force. I'm not motivated by wins and losses and things like that. I'm motivated by the development of these kids. You know, it's kind of a cool deal. I mean, I had no idea, and after seeing, I didn't even know it was a thing, you know, but after seeing the list of names that are in, I'm honored by that.
Major League Baseball here. The Kansas City Royals open up a 3-game series tonight at home against the Cleveland Guardians. Right now, it's another good one here. It's 3-3 in the top of the 9th. Whit Merrifield is 3 for 4 on the night for Kansas City with a home run and 2 RBIs. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, they're just 10 games away from the All-Star break. St. Louis opens a 4-game series against the Phillies this evening. Right now, the Cards are down 1-0 in the 6th. Adam Wainwright, solid start so far on the mound for St. Louis, throwing 6 innings, giving up just that 1 run on 3 hits while striking out 2. Well, local youth basketball players get the chance tonight to learn from some of the best to ever do it in Southeast Kansas. Some former SEK standouts are on break from the college programs, spent the evening at a youth camp in Parsons to give back to their hometown community.
Hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hard work! Anytime I can come back home and help the kids or work with the kids in the community to get better at a sport that I love and that hopefully they're falling in love with, it's good. That's good. That's good work right there. I like that. I like that.
Knock it down. Boom! Yeah! Just the basics of, basketball, learning the little things. Because, in the season, coaches really don't have time to sit there and coach through every little thing. So if they can just learn the small things, the small details about it, I think it'd be good for them. There it is. Boom. See? High five. That's what I like to see right there. It just feels great to be able to give back to this community. When I moved here, they accepted us. They've always gave us the most support and love. So I just want to give back as much as I can. Hit it right in the hands. That's a great pass.
That's something that I've always talked about, to my friends, Rick and everything. That's something that we've always talked about is just giving back to the community. Because whenever we was in school, they always was there for every game, everything like that. The community always gave, they all to us. So we just want to do whatever we can to get back to them.
Never feel rushed, step up with confidence and take your time, okay? The SEK means a lot to me, just all the love they showed me when I was here in high school, my success, and then even going off to ORU. So, and I don't get to come back often, so coming back to do this, I'm really glad that I was able to come back.
Tonight's camp was put on by the Future Scholars Club, led by Coach Lee Relaford Sr. And that's it for sports. We're back after this.
State parks all over Kansas are seeing larger attendance numbers for the first time since before the pandemic. Cedar Bluff and Ellis is one of the 27 state parks where campers are filling the lots. The park averages nearly 240,000 campers a year, and park officials say they're on pace to surpass that this year. Park officials say a large majority of those are newcomers. There have been 2.2 million campers across all Kansas state parks from January through May. NASA is poised to unveil new images from the James Webb Telescope, a high-tech endeavor meant to replace the Hubble. Reporter Matt Napolitano has more.
James Webb begins a voyage back to the birth of the universe. Seeing space through a new lens. NASA Tuesday is set to unveil images from the James Webb Space Telescope, also known simply as J. It's 30 years in the making, set to pick up where the Hubble telescope left off.
It's not a replacement, but it will do far more than Hubble could ever do just because it is designed to see in infrared light. And that just means that we can see the absolute far reaches of the universe way back to the first light that was ever produced from the Big Bang with the JWST.
Aerospace engineer Camille Calabeo, known to her hundreds of thousands of social media followers as the Galactic Gal, says the technology used by the Webb Space Telescope will offer an unfiltered look into a time not yet fully understood by scientists. NASA releasing some preliminary images of what's to come Tuesday, images that some thought would never come to reality with decades of delays.
It was built by Northrop Grumman and, in collaboration with a ton of other companies and NASA centers. And it just, had a lot of delays over the years. It really it's the most complicated thing that humanity has ever built. So it is totally reasonable to assume that there are going to be delays.
The James Webb Space Telescope relies on imaging instruments designed to detect infrared light, which is invisible to the human eye.
We want to look at things that are 13.7 billion years old, right? So that light has actually expanded, and as light expands, it gets into the infrared spectrum, and we call it redshifting.
Technology that may illuminate stars, galaxies, and even exoplanets poised to hold life that has gone unseen. In New York, Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Coming up, a 90s boy band making a comeback just in time for the holidays. It's Christmas in July for a pop star boy band. A highly anticipated movie already becomes a studio attraction, and first looks include a big series finale. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with today's Hollywood Nation.
Let justice be done.
Saul says goodbye, Nope joins the studio tour, and Backstreet gets festive in the Hollywood Nation. The Backstreet Boys are back all right in time for the holidays. Their first ever Christmas album, dubbed A Very Backstreet Christmas, will be out October 14th. They'll put their BSB twist on classic tunes and share 3 new original holiday songs.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
Imagine Dragons mark a milestone. Thunder was certified diamond, making them the first group in music history to achieve 4 diamond singles.
What's a bad miracle?
Jordan Peele's upcoming horror film Nope is part of Universal Studios Hollywood. The original Jupiter's Claim set from the movie will be an attraction on the studio tour. The film and the set debut Friday, July 22nd, the first time an attraction has opened day and date with a movie release. In today's first looks, it's the beginning of the end of Better Call Saul. AMC released a trailer for the final 6 episodes of the drama, which start Monday, July 11th.
You sure have bad luck, Sam Greenfield.
An official trailer was also released for the movie Luck, with famous voices including Jane Fonda and Whoopi Goldberg. The story follows the unluckiest person in the world who stumbles upon the land of luck, then goes on a quest with magical creatures to bring good luck home for her best friend. The animated adventure premieres on Apple TV Plus August 5th.
Just how unlucky are you?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of otters at the Brookfield Zoo playing and staying cool. Let's make it a great weekend.